It's about to go down. Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legend Morning Show is back Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Michael Shawn, that's me. Jay Black, Sexy Mo, C-Chum, and celebrity guests that you get nowhere else. That's right, but here on Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends. Go to our YouTube page, Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends, and check the exclusive situation all the way out. Or catch it live. Get your comments on Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends are back.
Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends, where the truth hurts, but also makes you laugh.
Baby, tap in. Tap, tap, tap.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What's good? Hair looking crazy, but it's always looking crazy in the morning time, so whatever. All right. Thursday, July 18th. We here. Good morning, all my people, all my Takeover Legend community folks. We got a guest coming on in 30 minutes. Gonna try and save some of our content so our guest can comment. Our guest will be Amir Sealy. He was on here yesterday commenting. I said, Amir, what you doing comment? Get on the show, homie. For those who don't know Amir, I know him as a cool corporate homie, corporate in a positive way, smooth, debonair. Some of y'all may know him as the brother of Malik Sealy. If you don't know Malik Sealy, NBA star, played at St. John's University, a legend, passed away way too early. So hopefully my homie Amir will jump on here in 30 minutes, less than 30 minutes. Let's get to these good mornings. I have been up since 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's all good. It's all good. Had things I had to do. Yes, I did. All right, let's get to these good mornings over here. Let's see who was first up to bat. Who was first with the good mornings? Let's see who it was. Ms. Parker got up here first. Friday Eve. Yes, it is Friday Eve. Yes, it is. Miss Clark, Miss Parker, always on here super, super early. Shelly, hello, family. Hello, Shelly. Hello, Jeanette. The ovaries are running the board. Afro Queen, what up? Afro Queen in the building. Yeah, my ladies are here. Oh, DJ Stacy D up early. All right. If you are, you said shout out to Oakland. So if you in Dallas, it's 6 a.m. out there. So shout to you for getting up here early. All my DFW cats. I gotta start promoting to my second home. The DFW. I gotta start promoting to them and get them on here. He's giving out the morning salutes. He's already on here. Yeah, I love it. You know, I love this part where everybody, what's that word? Commune? Is that the correct word? Communes? For those who don't know, Jay Black is on vacation. He will be back. I think he said he's on vacation. I don't know when we're gonna see Jay Black back. I don't know. He said he's on vacation for 2 weeks. Fuck if I know.
What?
He may be C-chunging it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let me see. We got another comment. Let me get everybody. Oak Cliff in here. Yes, Oak Cliff. I got to spread the word to the DFW. A lot of people out there treating me well for 9-10 years, something like that. I was out there for a long time. It is my second home. I will be back out there. Actually, I got a phone call today, this morning. Michael Collier, good friend of mine, comedian extraordinaire. He's at the Arlington Improv. He wanted me to come join the show. He wanted me to tear that stage down with him. But I'm here on the East Coast. I would have loved. I told him I would have loved. So we're trying to get Michael Collier on the show. We're trying to get Guy Torrey on the show. We already had Keith Robinson on the show. His Netflix special, Different Strokes, is doing quite well. So shout out to Keith Robinson, who was just on the Breakfast Club. So, yeah, we had him here first. That's not a, come on. There's so many podcasts and morning shows and everything like that. So Back in the day, it was really big to ask somebody first. We miss you here in Dallas, bro. 104 is falling off. I've heard, I've heard those things about K104. I don't know them. I don't know if it's fact or not. I'm not out there. So, and I'm not the type that's going to be on their app and listen. That I'm not on. So why would I listen? But thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard things ain't the same ever since me and Lady J left the building. No disrespect. I'm just telling you what the people tell me. No disrespect whatsoever. I know it would be taken as such, but no disrespect whatsoever. That's just the word on the streets, on the DFW streets. That's it. TP's in the building. TP done made it in here. All right, how much stuff can I get into before so he said facts. Facts on facts on facts, baby. Yeah, it is what it is. You continue walking your journey, people. Not going to get into a whole inspirational rant on walking your journey, but your journey has to be walked no matter what the situation, no matter who tries to switch, no matter if you fucked up the situation. Don't matter. You keep walking your journey. All right, we got some. We already know the Republican convention happened last night. His son was on there. I watched some of it. I was like, all right, man, come on, you're a fraud. They all come up there and just say, oh, they lied about this. And you're lying about saying the Democrats are lying about what you claim they're lying about. You lie. It's childish. There's no intellectual, what do you call it? Integrity. They just go up there and just say whatever the fuck you want to say, yo. Claim anything. Claim it. Oh, President Joe Biden, he lied about the economy. He lied about adding jobs. It's a fact he added jobs. It's just a fucking fact. Nobody cares about facts. Nobody cares about facts. I'm not, The fuck, man. Say anything. Say anything. That needs to be in political things like this, in an election, in campaigning, in speeches, when it comes to politics. Can't do it for everything. There needs to be a screen behind the people. You want to end the line? There needs to be a screen behind the people talking. And on that screen is a fact check. We have the technology to do this. There's the AI technology. There's all types of technology. And once you say something once you state a fact, once you claim they didn't do this, boom, a fact check comes up right behind you. That would change the whole atmosphere. Right behind you. At both conventions. Anybody who states or refutes a fact from the other party, a fact check screen is behind your ass. Joe Biden lied. President Joe Biden lied about adding jobs in America by sparking the economy with jobs. He lied. Boom, fact check comes up. Could be, you're right. Or fact check comes up. This is an incorrect statement. This is a false statement because so-and-so and so-and-so. And it needs to be a voice that comes on. This is a false statement. And then give all the facts. This is a false statement. These are the amount of jobs President Joe Biden has created in America. Or it says correct. That's it. That's all. We got the technology. We ain't got to hook people up to lie detector tests. They're not even, accepted in court. I want a fact check on just a fact. It doesn't matter if the person can make believe to themselves or be delusional that they believe that they're telling the truth. No, fact check. That is incorrect. Boom. Then it just tells you the reasons why this is incorrect is because it's B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Yes. Bet you people be worried about them words then. Hate when they have former soldiers and they have veterans speak on behalf of candidates. I don't even know if I want to take this. I don't know if I want to. Military veterans get treated like shit in this country. And I don't think either party has the right to ever use a former person who fought in, I don't know, World War II, Vietnam, any war. I think it's disgusting. You treat your veterans like shit. That's what this country does. Both parties. You sit around Memorial Day and you give your nonsense little propaganda spreading speeches and moments of silence and the speeches on how much we owe the men and women in our military. Once those men and women go to war for you, and when they come home, you treat them like shit. Whether the war was won, whether the war was just, it does not matter. How do I know? Because my father's a Vietnam veteran. And the health care provided to the Vietnam veterans and veterans of wars is bullshit. You know what the average wait time for my dad is when he goes to the VA? 3 to 4 hours is the wait time. I'm not making this shit up. The prescriptions that they get, outrageous. Outrageous the amount of money they charge people in their 70s for prescription medicine and for things that occurred because he served in your war. My dad was sent to Vietnam at 18 years old, never to be the same again. And you guys have the audacity to sit up there and try and pimp military veterans. They should have they should have the platinum package healthcare for free. The platinum package healthcare for free. There should be no co-pays for veterans who fought, who served. It should be platinum. You can go to any specialist you want. No questions asked. 3 to 4 hours. Yesterday, my mom and dad waited in the VA for damn near 4 to 5 hours. That's what they were put up against. And this is an appointment, a scheduled appointment. So yeah, this is very personal. We're not even going to mention the millions of homeless veterans, the mental health issues and traumas that they have to fight. I don't care what war it is. The Gulf War, I don't care what it was. You're an embarrassment. This government is an embarrassment when it comes to the veterans. But you sit up there and you use them as propaganda for your conventions. Donald Trump, you ducked the military. When it came your turn, you ducked it. You ducked the draft. How dare you have any soldier go on that stage when you ducked the draft? And any other politician that ducked the draft. Just a disgusting display. And it happens constantly. It happens constantly with these politicians and these presidents and vice presidents and senators and governors who sit up there Memorial Day and do all the shenanigans and sit up there and just like, oh, and we have to praise the proud, brave men and women who sacrificed so much. Yeah, they sacrificed so much. And when they came back, the sacrifice wasn't worth it for what you pay them back with. It's pulling teeth to try and get the health care you need for a veteran in this country. If you want a tooth pulled, it's pulling teeth so much that if you want a tooth pulled, that's a problem. There are people who've gone and joined the military or back in the day when they were drafted who never came back the same damn person. Never. Because we will never know what it's like to be a teenager, sent off to a foreign land to fight a war that you used the propaganda machine to be like, we're fighting communism, and sent the men to Vietnam in a jungle where they experienced the darkest shit that we will never understand. We will never have a clue on how dark that was. And now you got my dad sitting in the goddamn lobby of a fucking hospital for 4 to 5 hours when he risked it all. Maybe I shouldn't have gone on that topic. Facts on facts, no caps or takebacks. And all this patriotic shit that the megas talk about, oh, the America, shut the fuck up. And the Democrats, you the same. Shut up. Y'all still haven't taken care of the firefighters who ran into 9/11 and tried to save people from a building that was collapsed by, and I'm going to stop right there. I agree with you about the military. Thank you. Facts. We should be ashamed of how we treat them. Especially now, everyone that's been treated, everyone that can't get the treatment that they need, the health care that they need. If you're fighting a war, you shouldn't have to pay taxes when you come back. Oh, we can't do that. There's no tax exemptions. They are for churches. They're tax exemptions for the churches. They don't pay taxes. If you had active duty in a war, you shouldn't have to pay taxes. They should get a house car. They should get a house, car, and a savings account when they come home, plus free medication. Absolutely. And I'm talking the Platinum Plus healthcare. I'm talking about the top specialist in your area for whatever you're going through. Miles R. Walker. I make people all over the world in my I guess I said I meet people all over the world on my social media as well as in East Tennessee in real life mad. I'm not from Knoxville, Tennessee. I make people feel a way over facts I speak. Posts. You're right about veterans. I know a lot of some of my veterans are white. It's disgusting how they treat the veterans here in East Tennessee, in Knoxville, Tennessee. All presidents lie. Obama did what he could do. He needed white people to help him. Obama's drama-free, scandal-free, lie-free. I agree with most of what you said. I can't prove the rest. I don't have a fact check board, but thank you. Thank you for your comment. Almost said thank you for your service. Yeah, and that's what veterans get. You know what they get? They get people at airports telling them thank you for your service. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's like me going on tour, doing comedy, and I don't get paid at all. All I get is you did a great job after I get off stage. It's not the same, obviously, but I'm just giving you a little metaphor. That's what we do. Miss Clark, Miss Parker. All right, so let's lighten things up before I get Amir on here. I'm sure he'll be on here. Hopefully he'll be on. I'm sure. Okay, so for those who don't know, a fighter named Shakur Stevenson fought a few weeks ago, and I have some lies detected, but I want to lighten things up a little bit. So Shakur Stevenson, it became known recently that Jay Prince, rap a lot, Jay Prince, famous Jay Prince, you know him, is his manager. And Cameron and Mace on their show, What It Is, basically critiqued Shakur Stevens in his last few fights and was saying he was boring. He's a boring fighter. He's a boring fighter. That's what they said. He's a boring. That's what I don't agree. I think he's an amazing fighter. I think a lot of people thought Floyd was boring. I love boxing. I look at the skill set. I understand what the common folks want to see. I get it. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that. But Mace and Cameron, they zoomed out. They gave their opinion. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Jay Prince made some comments. And I guess Mace and Cameron took it as a threat. I don't know. Didn't hear the Jay Prince comments. But Mace decided he was going to go on the show and respond to what Jay Prince says. And here's what Murder Mace's comment and responses.
When you're dealing with older people, they're the last to know that things have changed. We not your little niggas. Like, the way you talking, I don't get what you mean. We're not your little niggas. Like, for real, all that big homie stuff, that's for little niggas. Little niggas have big homies. We're not little niggas, so we don't even respect big homies. I know Killer doesn't, and for me, I never respected niggas in the streets. That's why I always got the problems I got. Niggas would tell me, Mace, chill. No, chill for what? Who is this nigga? That's how I feel listening to this, man. Like, what? I want to respect you, but I can't. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if I got a little, like the dudes that raised me, if I was out of pocket, they would tell me I'm out of pocket. They wouldn't let me put them on a crash out mission. They would say, yo, Mace, listen. Mm-hmm. Around here, we don't send niggas to do nothing for us. We don't pay niggas to handle our problems. Mm-hmm. You got to put in your own work around here, Lord, man. That's what you were supposed to tell them. You can't go out here and talk crazy and then send me on a mission. Mm-hmm. Nah, this is where the game got messed up when young niggas started sending old niggas out. And just because this little ignorant nigga got a few dollars, he make all of you that's supposed to be real run after his mission. Mm. This is a problem, Jay Prince. And I'm going to tell you like this. If you're 60 years old and you're trying to be a street nigga, you failed. You failed. I'm telling you this.
Now, there's some TikTok, Instagram rumors that I probably shouldn't justify because I don't think they're true. I haven't heard, and I wouldn't know. I'm not in that world. I'm a comedian. I get on here in the morning time. I get on stage. I rock with Jonesy on Mondays, 94.7 The Block, and I keeps it moving. That 53 years old, he's right. I ain't got no time unless one of my children are being threatened or somebody I love is being threatened. Am I going to do the crash out? So that got a big response. Everybody was getting played everywhere. Actually, I had that in the can since Monday, but because we got caught up with this Republican convention, we got detoured. We got detoured off of it. Well, this got so big that somebody did a skit impersonating. Now, you didn't hear Cameron. I don't have Cameron because Cameron joined in too. And he has something to say. But this young man, William, I think his name is William Mason or William Mace or something. Well, this is the skit that he put together that's going viral right now. This is the impersonation of what you just saw.
Niggas. We the big niggas. Killer. You niggas is Rudy Pooty, ooey Louie, what I usually do. This, that, jump, start, breathe. Ooty ooh. Harlem on the rise. You niggas ain't even making 5 mil. Me and Murder, we making 5 still. Yellow Man, Killer Thriller Camp, Jackson 5 bill. That 5 shit. Pat-tat-tat-tat-tat a bit. We don't want to empty out the bank account. Killer. Yo, James Princeton. Nigga, you 60, nigga. Yeah, fuck your acronym. Nigga, this ain't the 80s, nigga. I'm sorry. This ain't no Grandmaster Flash. Nigga, don't push me, nigga, because I'm close to the edge. I'm telling you like this. You failed. Young boy NBA. Told you niggas eat a dick, nigga. I'm gonna put this into perspective, Killer. Give me a second. Go ahead, finish. How the fuck you let this little nigga let you crash out, nigga? Yo, Shakur, my nigga, you boring. Nigga, you didn't throw your hands, Killer. I'm sorry. What? Niggas ain't watching your fights. What are we watching? How you got more energy for us, nigga? And you could have used that anger in your fight. Killer. You ain't say nothing to Kendrick. You ain't popped out and showed niggas shit. Like, how you guiding the youth when the youth guiding you? That nigga beat an owl up in front of you, nigga. That's not how the game is played. Niggas ain't buying that Beijing you putting in your head, nigga. Can't nobody hold me down. Oh no. What? Dot, fuck him up.
Oh, that's just. I figured I'd lighten things up. I figured I would lighten things up. So that's the internet, social media is the gift and the curse. There's so much talent out there, and as a comedian, that is talent, yo. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care if you thought it was funny. That was funny to me. I mean, I like the fact, yes, RG Parker, I see you. Jay Pearls, Nikki White Chocolate is in the building. Nikki, we got a comedy show confirmed August 10th. Let me see. Let me get this. That's Lou Young. His skits are hilarious. Okay, all right, Afro King. Afro King Research Department. Ashley Newman, she's up in here. I just left myself and my C family don't play about. Okay, Walker. I just left Harlem a few weeks ago. I be by myself in NYC. My family don't play about me, yo. Word to Murder Mace. Okay, Ashley Newman, good morning. I hope you saw the skit, Ashley Newman. I just wanted to get y'all laughing. He was spot on, Jay Pearl. Yes, he was. We got that information. Stacey D, laugh aloud. He's a guy that in person, Deion Sanders. Oh, he did Deion Sanders too. Okay, Mike, did you see the clip of Joy Reid on Amber Rose? Yes, I did. I don't have it, but I did see it. What else we got? Oh man, that shit. I just wanted to make y'all giggle a little bit. That's all. Just get y'all giggling and get y'all lively. It's hilarious. But leave Mace alone. Oh man, I love Mason Cam, what they're doing over there. I be over Harlem with my family from all them wildin' housing projects. Used to Tenkency? I don't know. Dave East building from my mother's apartment. We really know Cam, Jim Jones, Jewels, the whole Dipset. Ain't no place like Harlem. I personally, Mace's ex-wife. Years ago, y'all like our lingo. No, Harlem's the shit. I'm from the Bronx, but Harlem's the shit. You can't deny Harlem's got a whole identity. The boroughs, each borough has an identity, but Harlem definitely has a real identity. He's for real. All right, so let me see if I got everybody. Skip was kind of funny to the Towers, Tower Projects. Okay, you got Foster damn, King Towers. That was the old comedy club used to be around there. And Wagner Washington Heights. Yes. Can't tell you I was around those areas sometimes when I was doing comedy in Harlem. I didn't go to Washington Heights on purpose. Sometimes I dropped off a comedian who needed a ride in Washington. I'm not going to tell you I was walking the streets of Washington Heights. Shout out to my Dominicans over there. I knew people. I dropped them off. I'm not built. So before Amir comes on, there was a drunken girl. And I just want to say I admire this lady. The home run derby was this weekend. Baseball, for those who aren't up on it, baseball is like that's their dunk contest. And a young lady got up there and performed the national anthem. To say it was bad, it's not Carl Lewis bad. For those who never saw Carl Lewis sing the national anthem, it's not Carl Lewis bad. But it's bad. Let me see if I can. I should have put this here. This is I think this is some of it right here. This is some of it right here. This is the national anthem she sang. Oh, this is the statement she made. Statement she made is that she was drunk. And I give her love for coming out. Ingrid Andress. They said she won a few Grammys. I'm trying to get the actual. Let me see if I can get the actual footage so y'all can see. Give me a minute. I'm a one-man show here, y'all. I'm a one-man show. I do it all by myself. It's just me. Oh, shit. I probably should have kept this in the stash. When white girl sings badly. Let me see if I think this is the one that I don't know. I think this is the one. Yes, it is. Here we go.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so
Okay.
proudly
Okay.
we hailed
Uh-oh.
by the twilight's last gleaming,
Okay, all right.
whose broad stripes and bright stars
Oh boy.
through the perilous fight.
Oh boy. Oh.
For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs burst.
And they lit the fireworks. Oh, it's like a car accident. You gotta hear that part again. Wait a second. I'm sorry. I'm a hater.
Gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air.
Oh, my. All right, so she came out with a statement, and our guest is here. So I'm gonna bring my man Amir. Amir, what's up, Amir? Sealy is in the building. What's good?
What's going on?
All
Good
right.
morning, everybody, man. Thank you so much, Mike, for having me on your show, brother.
It's
Always
all
a
good.
pleasure.
It's all good. So the young lady, Amir, before we get into our topics and everything, the young lady made a statement. Her publicist or her people made a statement that she was drunk. And listen, if there's one person who can relate to being drunk and trying to perform, it's Michael Shawn. I have been in this situation before, and it has gone very left. It has gone very left, from little comedy spots to one time New Year's Eve at a theater with Gary Owen. It was his New Year's Eve, and yes, it happened. Let me give you a little quick flashback. I need my flashback. It was New Year's Eve, people. I'm booked on the show. I've been tearing things down, but it's New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, Mir, I decide I'm going to make this right. I'm going to get a manicure and pedicure. Mir, this is a true story right now. Follow me on this. I go to the little spot. This is a fancy spot. I'm getting the petty and the mani and the petty. That's what they get, the mani and the petty, right? I get there at like 10 in the morning, 9:30, 10 in the morning. I get there. I sit in a big, luxurious seat. They dip my feet in the water. And before the lady starts, she said, "Would you like a drink? Would you like a drink?" I never didn't know. I was like, "What do you mean? Like a drink of water, some juice?" "No, would you like a drink? A drink? And I said, "Y'all got drinks? Like drinks?" She said, "Yeah, we have drinks. What would you like?" I said, "What do you have?" So we have wine, and they had champagne. We have wine and we have champagne. It is 9:30 in the morning. I say, let's go. Right? I said, it's 9:30. I said, I got plenty of time. I ain't got to be at the show till 7 at night. I got plenty of time. I said, don't do the wine. Bring the champagne out. Bring the champagne, right? Of course, it's some cheap champagne, but who cares? I'm an alcoholic. Nobody cares. Like, all right. So I go, I get it. I drink up. I'm like three champagne little flutes. Is that what they call them, Amir? Because you're more sophisticated than me. They got the flutes, but I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. No. I'm gonna do stick my hand out. There you go. She go, "Oh, you want another one?" "Yeah, bitch, just come on, let's get it. I got all day to sober up." So by the time I get done, the feet and the hands, I'm nice and tipsy. Now remember, it was 9:30 when I got in there. When I get out, it's 11 o'clock. That means my favorite bar, which is diagonally across the street, is now open. It's called Clicks. 11 in the morning. Mir, I got time. I walk in there. Now, mind you, I got my hair cut the day before. I walk in there. I walk in, hey, what's up? They all knew because I went. That was my favorite spot. They all knew. Oh, you got the show tonight? Yeah, trying to get it in real quick. Go home, take a nap, and get right. Went in there, just an average, maybe 4 or 5 shots. So now it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm feeling it. Had me some wings. I go home. When I go home, I lay on the couch because my outfit is laid out on the bed. So I can't lay on the bed. The outfit is perfectly laid on the bed. I get on the couch, go to sleep. I wake up. I said, this worked out. I'm good. I run over a few of my jokes. I'm great. I go to the theater. I go to my dressing room. Says Michael Shawn. I see Gary Owen. I see Earthquake. I see a whole bunch of comedians. Hey, what's up? Go in there, and there is the biggest bottle of Absolute vodka I've ever seen in my life on the corner of the mirror. Like it's so big that it's taking up some of the mirror. And Amir, I looked at it, and that bitch looked back at me. And I said, 2 shots before the show, and then I'll come right back to you. Have you ever seen the movie, what's the Denzel movie when he's the pilot?
Oh,
Is it Flight?
Flight. I think that's the name of it.
You ever see the part where he's in a hotel and he opens the little bar in the hotel room, he opens the refrigerator, he takes a little shot out, and then he puts it on top like he's not going to drink it, then he grabs it?
Yeah.
2 shots. That's all I was taking. Mir, all I remember was waking up to somebody banging on my door saying 5 minutes.
Wow.
And I was so wasted. I said, for what?
Wow.
If you think that lady was bad singing the national anthem, you should have seen that New Year's Eve.
It's so fun, that you share that story, because I think that there are so many of us who have stories either similar or, somewhat in that, same vein. It may not have been, you had to do a show, but it could have just been, you were hanging out with your friends or your people, and you figured, I'd do something light, and, the rest of the evening will go like it's supposed to go in your head. And it's funny you bring that story, because I remember I had a story similar to that. I had some of my boys who back then went to strippers hard, but they used to do all these things where they would gather the fellas together, and it might be in somebody's apartment, and the strippers come and everybody have their money and had drinks. And this is when
hold
Bacardi
up, Amir, hold up. You need your flashback music. Wait a second. Hold on. This is a flashback.
So
Continue.
So this is one of those times when this was actually when Bacardi Lemon first came out. I don't know if you remember when that first came out.
Yeah.
So Bacardi Lemon had first come out, and I wasn't as familiar with Bacardi or Bacardi Lemon for that matter, but that was the drink that they had at the event. And they were like, yo, everybody should try it, whatever. So I'm like, all right, bet. I don't, what I got to lose? It's the fellas. We're gonna have a good time. We got strippers. It's gonna be good. Man, I did the same thing. Like you said, I saw the bottle. I was like, all right, 2 shots. I should be good.
2 shots.
All I remember is I took the, drink, and back then that was before we even started really mixing, because it was like it's got lemon in it, so I don't really need to add anything else. It is what it is. Next thing I know, I'm hugging the toilet bowl in the spot, and there's a stripper in there consoling me. She's like, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Where am I?" She's like, "You're in the bathroom." She was like, "We got to get you out of here." I was like, "No, my stomach's going crazy. The room's spinning. I feel safe here. I don't need to move. I need to stay here. This is where I feel safe at." So when you shared that story, it just, took me back to that moment. And I, thought to myself, like, man, there were so many times in our lives where, we underestimated or overestimated, what we were going to do in the moment with drinking. And it went totally different.
It goes left. It goes left. And people, I am not trying to romanticize my alcohol, because trust me, I was in a deep depression after that, because that social media was in full swing when I did that. So understand, the attack on social media was crazy. Like people were telling me, like, thank you for ruining our New Year's Eve. And like they called my coworkers at the radio station. People were texting my coworkers as I was on stage doing this. So I don't want to romanticize it, but shit, it happens.
Yes.
It happens.
And it's the comeback. You know what I'm saying, Mike? That's what the amazing thing about it is it's the comeback. And I think that sometimes we don't understand that the initial situation is devastating. Because like you said, your coworkers, family, so forth and so on. But it's the comeback from things like that that you really appreciate, because in all fairness, you have to pick yourself up. You have to assess what has really happened. And then you have to be honest with yourself and go, I need to fix this, and I need to see how to fix this, and what to do in order to, get past this. So, again, brother, I give you, all the props and kudos in the world, because like you said, it was a situation that was even deeper for you, but you've, gotten to a point where you were able to, really take that burden on and do something great with it.
Yeah, I'm fighting the fight every day. Every day you got to fight the fight. Every day. Trust me, you don't just wake up and like, yo, I'm good. You don't just wake up and say, I'm good. You wake up and then you say your prayer. You say, hey, didn't drink yesterday, God. Good looking on that. Feeling good today. All right. That one day at a time is for real, for real. That 1 minute at a time is for real. But we'll get into more of that. I'm gonna have a special show. I got some counselors coming on. Obviously, Amir don't have the drinking problem I have. Obviously, Amir's a social drinker. Everybody who social drinks has a handful of moments where you go like, okay, I'm next to this toilet and I don't want to move because I feel safe next to this. So I don't know what it is about alcohol that makes you feel safe in a certain spot. I don't know. I felt one time I threw up at a club and I felt safe with my head in the speaker. I didn't want to move from it, and I was in the speaker. My head was in the speaker. It was in the speaker. But all right, so we got you here. You're a level-minded man. That's why I wanted to really have you here. You're level, and on the show, that's what we need. We need some people, because sometimes our opinions go left or right. So Shawn O'Neal wrote a book. The memoirs came out a while ago. And I had made a comment about it, but a lady got on social media and made a comment about her saying she doesn't know if she was really ever in love with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal came back and said, I understand why she would say that. He was very, Shaquille has been very transparent on his screw ups in the relationship. But this woman had a different angle on how she felt about Shawn O'Neal writing this book. And I'm going to let you hear it.
Connie Henderson's new memoir, she talks about her relationship with her ex-husband, Shaq. And she says, I don't know if I was ever really in love with the man. And this is what men are talking about when it comes to being accountable women. You can't say you don't know if you was ever really in love with him when you were in love with the lifestyle that he provided. You had his children. He took good care of you to the point where you created an entire enterprise of being a basketball wife. Not only that, you're still using his name to sell memoirs, because there is nothing personally important about you besides being married to Shaquille O'Neal. So the one thing that we have to be better at is being realistic, and we have to be better at being honest. If this is a truth that belongs to you, his children have to hear it while you're trying to sell books. So keep it to yourself. It's unnecessary. All right. So in Shawn Henderson's new memoir.
All right. So there's a lot there. So off the beginning, we'll dissect it. But just hearing that statement, do you agree with the woman? This is a game that we call Lies Detected. When I play a clip, and then our viewers put on if there were lies detected. If there were lies detected, what were the lies? And if there are no lies detected, it's simple. You just say no lies. So we can go with that. Do you feel there are no lies detected in this statement?
I think there are some lies in there, but I'll explain why I think there are some lies in there.
Go ahead. Knock yourself out. Let's go.
Okay, so first off, I think that Shawn O'Neal is telling the truth. I think one of the real misnomers for a lot of us who deal in relationships is our inability to be honest about not only the relationship, but a lot of what happens. I've said this on numerous occasions. In theory, men really love unconditionally. Women love under the conditions of which you can provide.
Okay.
Period.
I heard Chris Rock say that. Okay. Yep.
Period.
All right.
And I'm not saying that to be mean or facetious, and I know there's going to be some people who disagree with me, but the reason why I'm saying that, and I want people to, understand and just listen to the examples that I'm giving. So, for instance, most times when men and women get together, a lot of the times we are chasing our counterparts. We meet them at various stages of their life. You might meet somebody, very early on. They look a certain way, they whatever. Guys will hang around. You can put on weight, you can lose weight, so forth and so on. A guy, on the other hand, if you met him and he was able to provide a certain lifestyle, do certain things, you may technically get out of the relationship the moment he can't provide that situation for you anymore. And guys don't do that. We hang around. We like, look, you put on some weight. Okay, you're a little bit thicker than, what I remember, but I still love you. I still, respect who you are and so forth and so on. That's not always the same, for women. And then I'm not saying that all women do that. So I don't want anybody to get on here and go, he said, I'm not saying that. I'm
Michael
saying,
said it. Michael Shawn said it. All y'all bitches don't play.
I'm saying, generally speaking, I said, and with that, then the lady said, his kids have to hear that. We have to do a better job of giving our children the honest to God truth sometimes about what happens, even in the relationships between our parents. Mike, I've been on your show, numerous times, and I've said this on occasion as well. Part of the problem is us first lying to ourselves, but then taking that lie to the next level by continuing to lie to the public at large. Ooh. If you can't tell your kids and yourself the truth, then how you going to, move forward into the world? She has, like she said, started an enterprise. There are so many women who technically in that space, and when I say that space, I'm talking about the entertainment industry to some degree. You get on or are able to start a relationship with somebody who has prestige, who has a name, who has been in a space that allows you to then also somewhat have a name. Because as she said, if Shawnee was just writing this book and it was about her life, would anybody care? She didn't put Shawnee Johnson, which may have been her maiden name, maybe before she married Shaq, and that's no disrespect. Shaq happens to be somebody who I respect and who I understand. From an entertainment standpoint, his name is and his presence is larger than life. But the problem is, when you look at Basketball Wives or you look at any of these shows, that's what you see really going on. These young ladies come into the show, they get attached to whatever entertainers they get attached to, and then it's this. You can't do this without me. We didn't know you before the show. We know who that person was because they were either a football player, basketball player, an entertainer, whether they be a rapper or a singer. We didn't know you. You've never. I saw this yesterday, and I'm just switching gears for a minute. I don't know if you saw this, but there was a meme that said Kobe Bryant's wife. Kobe's father passed the other day, and she put out a tweet that said something along the lines of, the father was nice to me, and I'm sorry that he's gone, but it was almost cold. And I was thinking to myself, would we know or care who you were if it wasn't for Kobe Bean Bryant, who then taught his son Kobe Bryant how to be the great basketball player that he was? See, nobody wants to acknowledge that part of the equation. We want to do this whole thing where we act as though I got with him and I made him or her better. No, you didn't. They were already great.
Well,
you got on the coattails.
Well, let me just say this, because
yes.
now there's so many layers to this. Let me start, because I think that Kobe, his wife, that's interesting. Let me start with Shawnee O'Neal. I didn't read the book. I had no interest in reading books. So this could be in the book, y'all. You're not watching the show that the researcher, do I look like I'm researching shit? I'm not digging in and reading a book that I really don't care about the person writing the book. No disrespect intended. Didn't mean any disrespect. But if the quote is going to say, I don't know if I was ever in love with him, then in that book, it better say what you were in love with. And it better be an admission that you were in love with this lifestyle that the lady said he did provide. That you were in love with the fact that you could turn this into a multi-million-dollar business. Or you could say I stayed for the kids. I didn't read the book. Don't know. What I do know for me personally is if I'm already making money and somebody says, Mike, we want you to write a book about you, about your personal life. And I already, bills is paid. Mortgage is good. Everything's fine. I'm not going to now drag my ex-wife into this. Because it's one thing if I'm dead broke and I'm struggling and I have no options. That's one thing. It's another thing when I know everything is good and the way I'm going to take notes down is when I'm flying to an island while I'm on a plane flying to. I'm like, let me work on. Oh shit, that's right. I remember when my ex and I don't understand when you resort to this, and the man has already come out 100 times and said he was a horrible husband. He's come out and said he was sitting in a 10,000 square foot, a 15,000 square foot house by himself, and it was his fault that his kids weren't there and that his wife wasn't there. He's already admitted to all this. I don't understand the point on stomping on him and be like, yeah, you know what? I don't even know if I was ever in love with him. Not to mention that financially, even before the basketball wives, he paid up. Like he gave you that child. I don't even know what that child support must have been. I don't even know what that alimony must have been. I don't want to know because I'd probably have to throw up. Like if I realize you got to pay that much goddamn money. So that's the thing that kind of annoys me. Now the people here, Miss Clark says no lies detected. RG Parker says no lies. She's now Mrs. Henderson, who's the pastor, who I kind of like his hustle. I kind of like the sermons that he does. I kind of like, he's the one who shushed the choir or shushed the lady in the choir. She's right. She was in love with the cocoa. The money. It was the money. Miles says facts. She's right. Shawnee and so many basketball wives are wacko jackos. No lies detected. All right, Mr. Walker got something to say. He said, I can't stand these basketball housewives. The baddies show any show has women clout chasing, fame, ghetto arguing, verbal fights, all wacko jacko. You like that term? Women try to be damn, why can't relevant? Then old stale. Nobody want them. They all chase the bag of money. They never chase the person for who the genuinely person they were. All this money hungry hussies wanted a free. Okay, you're angry. All right, Mr. I get it. I get it. It's just a weird situation when I wonder when's enough, and how much do you want to put out there in your life? And now let's get to Vanessa Bryant. The problem I have with society, right? Problem I have with society is that we're full of shit. We say we want transparency, but we don't want transparency because when somebody is transparent, then we chop them down piece by piece for telling you how they really feel. Vanessa had no choice but to put a statement out there. Because if she didn't put a statement out there, then every morning show in America, every shade room, every ball alert would then assume and make assumptions on why she didn't put a statement out there. And it would go back to the point that she wasn't cool with Kobe's parents. And that whole can of worms would open up. And then that would bring up the fact that Kobe had issues with his parents selling his memorabilia and all the drama that went on. So it's like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you make a statement and say, hey, he was nice to me, we'll miss him. His family's going to miss him. And Mir, I'm not coming at you. You'll say things like, it was cold. But if she don't say shit, or God forbid, she actually told the truth and said, I hope he rests in peace, but I ain't really fuck with him. Nobody's allowed to say that. And go ahead.
What's so funny? Like, and here's the thing. I don't think it was cold from that standpoint. Obviously, like you said, there was, at least from what we're hearing, there was some issues between Kobe and his parents and so forth and so on. again, here's the beef that I have. When you're fortunate enough, and I must use the word fortunate because you might have initially met, this entertainer or basketball star, and it been a real connection. But when you're fortunate enough to become a part of that circumstance, and you haven't shot a jump shot, you ain't ran any of the drills that they run, you ain't been up 5 a.m, 3 a.m. I just don't think you or anybody for that matter gets to then start dictating what the family can, should, and should not get. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you, Shawn, Michael, you know this. My late brother, Malik Sealy, made it, to the pros, and he got a chance to play professional basketball for 9 years. And one of the things that I always hate is when people marry into families, but then they come in and they act like they taking over your family. You married into my family. You wasn't around when me and my brother shared a room. You wasn't around when he was coming up through the rankings and I was the one taking him to games or putting money in his pocket to make sure that, he got the games. See, nobody, to your point, nobody talks about all that stuff. We get so caught up in what we see, which is the final product, and that's fine. But the reality of it all is there were multiple steps that got them to that point. And the reality of it all is you weren't there for those steps. You got there after the finished product was already good. That's a big difference. And I hate that we have all of these things now where everybody goes, well, you're married. And because you're married, what's yours is his. Hey, slow down. Slow down. We could go through multiple situations where we look at who the people were before they got married to these people and where they are now. And each and every case, you'll be like, ooh, you know what I mean? Because it's very rare that we can do the reverse of that. Meaning there's some incredibly famous woman who she took some random regular dude and changed his life. Am I lying, Mike?
No, not now. I'm waiting on one of them. I'm waiting on one of them. I'm waiting on one right now. I'm waiting on one.
So do you understand what I'm saying? So that's the problem that I, semi have with it. I get it. Like you said, she's supposed to put out a statement. My point is, I understand, or at least my understanding is they're saying she's not even sharing her resources with her own family. Man, that's super selfish. That's super selfish. And the point, and like I said, my point is, you never shot a jump shot. You never won a championship. You wasn't, like I said, getting up with him 5 or whatever, in the morning to do the workouts. None of that. So let's not be that person. We get too many people who it's mine. Based off of what? Because you showed up.
Wow. All right, y'all. Well, hey, Amir done opened it up. He done opened it up. Y'all got comments, whatever. I will tell you this marriage thing. I'll tell you the hardest part of being, because you have a family. I've met some people around you, but I've never met your entire family. You, from what you're saying, you have the type of family that I have, where the hardest part as a husband is to be the mediator and to set boundaries between your family and your wife. And you have to check both sides. It's exhausting when you have to check both sides. Watch your mouth. You got to tell your family, watch your mouth. Then you got to look at your wife and you got to go, watch your mouth. And you got to keep a boundary, because a lot of us, the problem we do, and this is just my sole opinion, obviously, is that when things are going bad in your relationship, you start leaking information to your family. When things are going bad in your relationship, that's when you can't leak things to your family. You can't. I'm just giving you my advice. You can't, because your family now, that's on her permanent record with your family. That's on her permanent record. Your mom, if you're blessed enough to have both your parents, if you're blessed enough to have your siblings, your favorite cousin, they store that and they remember what you said about your wife. And they will repeat it to your face when everything smooths over with your wife. And they will bring it back up and say, don't you remember when you told me this did this and this did that? That's why as a man, you got to keep boundaries, and it ain't easy. But this relationship, there's get-togethers, and listen, I was blessed. The second relationship I was in, my mom and the person are friends to this day. We're not even together. And they're friends to this day. So I had it, but I still, those boundaries, once they get crossed, and I know it's weak. I know you have a weak moment. And I know you want to go to your family. People, I've been there. I know you want to go to your family and you need somebody. That's why you need a therapist or tell a stranger, goddammit. Don't tell no family fucking member.
No, you're right, Mike. You're right.
And since you've been on the show, you haven't been on it for a while. I've always said, this is a segue, that divorce is the ultimate hustle in 2024. It's a hustle. That's why people are so scared to get married. Tiana Taylor and Amon Shumper just went through a divorce. Let me tell you what Amon Shumper got for. In the divorce, Tiana Taylor's divorce, Amon Shumper, Tiana Taylor got 4 houses valued at $10 million. Amon Shumper has been ordered to make a 7-figure one-time payment. She also gets the $300,000 Maybach, the $70,000 Mercedes Sprinter, and a tour bus, as well as 100% ownership of her companies. Amon is then being forced to pay $8,000 per month for child support, which I understand. And he has to pay 100% of the private school fees. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all think if I'm in that situation, I'm taking a chance on having to pay that shit out. And it goes both ways. Mary J. Blige caught it. We've had a bunch of Halle Berry caught it. There are a bunch of, it goes both ways. If you think I'm taking a chance and I'm $50 million deep and I got to give that shit up for love.
And let's be fair. I mean, because I know everybody, or, usually when we have these kind of conversations, everybody just immediately goes to, well, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I don't think whether you're a man and you get the better end of that, or you're a woman and you get there's not that much stuff in this world that you could do that warrants that. I don't care what you say. The man just said 4 houses, y'all. 4? She couldn't get 1 or 2, and he hold on to 2. And then as far as the cars go, and here's the thing, Tiana Taylor in particular is a dynamic talent. It's not even like this, like she's some, again, seemingly normal woman who is untalented, this, that, the third. She's a phenomenal talent in her own right. I'm so sick and tired of these kinds of situations coming to fruition and us having to deal with the ramifications of it, in and including the fallout, and us having to have these dialogues about it. Because at the end of the day, everybody goes into everything with the hope or the, of saying, to Mike's point, this is going to last forever. Because that's really supposedly why we get married. It's going to last forever. This is a great union. We're going to be together forever. We're going to enjoy our lives. And then we see things of this magnitude. And like he said, he's right. This is why people are afraid to get married. And I know there are people go, but you can't put that on you. Look, we didn't put that on them. We thought to ourselves that their situation was going to be incredible or whatever. I've said this, and Mike can attest to this, and especially on his show in particular. If in the world of entertainment, and again, I always preface it by saying this, in the world of entertainment, whether you're Amon Shumpert, Tiana Taylor, Kobe Bryant, whoever, these are people who are at the top of their craft, which means they're the best of the best to some degree. If you, as a regular human being in regular life, are being approached, whether it be proposition to date, so forth and so on, and you see through your lenses the kind of people who are approaching you, what do you think is happening to them at the levels that they're at? The people who are approaching them. And I always tell people that, not as a way, temptation is temptation. So let's get that out the way. But the reality of it all is, all of y'all sound good and make these, I'm standing on business and all this stuff, until You are asked to stand on business in a situation where, for some of you, depending on if these are, men that you like, a Boris Kojo comes and propositions you. Then you start looking at your guy a little sideways or whatever. So just understand that people are going to change. Things are going to change. The world is going to evolve in some way, shape, or form. But big and better than that is you have to have enough wherewithal, enough fortitude to fight through those temptations and do the best you can to be you. Because that's all you got. Some stuff that y'all depending on.
I ain't know I got the therapist, Amir Sealy. I didn't know I got the therapist. I wasn't ready. But because we have the therapist on here, Mr. Sealy, I have another lies detected. I got a few today. And this lady speaks upon triggers and how she feels about triggers. Now, triggers are a word in my life within the last few years that I've learned about. Triggers and gaslighting. I didn't have those words when we were coming up. Everybody gaslit everybody. When I thought that I didn't think that was a negative. I thought that was a positive trait that you could gaslight. You can instigate somebody into changing their whole emotional set. I thought that was a superpower. If that was the case, I was the ultimate gaslighter. But this lady talks about triggers, and you'll be surprised on what she has to say, because normally people are pretty sympathetic about triggers and maybe tapping somebody's triggers and getting into something, but she may shock you on her opinion on triggers. And here we go. Lies detected.
The capacity to tiptoe around people's triggers.
What'd you say?
I just want to be in healthy.
You got to go back and say that part again. You said you don't have the capacity to do what?
To tiptoe around people's triggers. Because if you're constantly triggered just by my presence, by my typical conversation, if this is just who I am, then that's okay. We just might not are supposed to be friends in this capacity because we have differing personality types. And that's why I think like the sisterhood thing is great in theory, but if it's a A, B, C, and D personality, and B and D clash, like A and B get along, B and C get along, C and D get along, but there's going to be some clash when there's so many different personality types.
Listen, I'm gonna go to our therapist, Miss Sealy, but before I go to her, I'm just gonna say, listen, people, it is damn near impossible to figure out a person you're in a relationship, all their triggers. Because listen, y'all, my triggers evolve. What triggered me on Tuesday may not trigger me on Wednesday. What triggered me on Sunday afternoon, I may be all good with it on Monday. So I don't know what people want from human beings that have enough on their plate. Every single person has enough on their plate trying to figure out their life every single day. Now you want me to take a case study and try and figure out your triggers and how not to push that button every single day. I almost think that is irrational. Sometimes maybe you, the person who's being triggered, needs to figure out how to deal with your triggers. And because I know I've been on the sidelines when it comes to relationships, because I've had to figure out, are my triggers valid? Or are my triggers past traumas? Or are my triggers just asshole Mike? I've had to figure out which ones and that. So it's on you now, Dr. Sealy. It's on you.
Okay, so first off, I think what she said most certainly has some valid, it's valid. Here's the crux of it, and this is me speaking for me and the way I see it. Mike just made the ultimate point. So many of us run around here, and like he said, in the last few years, words like triggers and gaslighting and all that stuff have become such a new, thing for us all. Your triggers are your insecurities, are the things that you have gone through technically, personally in your life, and are things that you need to address, whatever they may be. And only you know that, by the way. I don't know Mike's triggers. Mike doesn't know my triggers. I'm the only person who knows the things that trigger me. And to his point, changes from moment to moment, depending on what your surroundings and your circumstances are. With that having been said, and again, Mike could attest to this because I've been on, his platform a few times. A few things come to mind. The first thing that comes to mind, and this is just, again, something that I feel people should do a better job of, generally speaking. The song "You Can't Hide From Yourself," anywhere you go, there you are, is one of my favorite songs because as a kid, I used to just dance to it and think to myself, like, this is a mean track. True story. But as I've gotten older and I listen to the words, it took on a different connotation and a different meaning for me now as an adult. And I think that so many of us, if we actually allowed ourselves to let that play in our heads, especially when we think of ourselves and how we move through life, I think so many of us would start to do so much better because now you have to address the things that you know are hard for you to deal with and cope with in regular everyday life. The next thing I'm gonna say is I'm sorry, hold on a second. The next thing I'm gonna say is I feel like, generally speaking, each and every one of us, Michael Shawn, who's on this platform right now, Amir, who's on this platform, and the various people who are tuning into this show, each and every one of you are your own radio station. And here's what happens. Because you're your own radio station, you then attract the frequencies to which you put out into the universe. So many of us, unfortunately, don't realize that because through our thoughts, through the things that we say, and through our actions, that energy goes into the universe. So then the universe sends back things that are attracted to those energies.
Yeah.
And I think what happens to so many people is we don't understand that small principle. Not everybody, but some of us. And because you don't understand that small principle, we then run around with this whole idea, these ideologies of, I didn't attract that. Yes, you did. Because by not saying what you really wanted and leaving a void, then the universe presents what you didn't ask for, because it is always listening. Our energy is just that. It just goes into the universe. I always liken it to when you in your car and you're listening to the radio. You might turn to a station where they're playing hip hop. You might turn to a station where they're playing light music. You might turn to a station where they're playing jazz, because that's what your energy is attracted to in that moment. That's the same thing with people. But the problem is we don't look at it that way because nobody's ever presented it that way. So I just ask that we really do a better job of looking good and hard at ourselves. And if there are some triggers or things that you feel cause you to feel feel away, do your best to work through them. Like you said, get therapy, find somebody to talk to, whatever it takes to do that. That's what you should do.
And you know what another thing is that goes on now? When you said the energy that you give out and what you want back. A lot of people are embarrassed to say what they want because the general society doesn't agree. Because you may feel, if I tell people that's what I really want, people going to look at me like, well, who the fuck wants that? And then you have to work through the part of, I'll take the energy I'll lower it down to basic, your type. Then you have to start thinking to yourself, is my type really good for me? So should I be putting that energy out because we do put the energy out to put that type that we want. We hang out in those areas where that type is around. We talk and dress a certain way sometimes to attract that certain type that we like. But you're embarrassed to say that you like that. You embarrassed to say you want that flashy motherfucker who ain't shit. You embarrassed that so you got to work through what is it that you really, can you be honest with yourself? Is like that. I know there was a type I had. That type wasn't good for me. That type was a dangerous situation. That type always turned into somebody open the door. The police are here. That always turned into something like that. Let me get to these comments real quick. Oh, not the passage. Mr. Walker, you get me to reading. He's still talking about the Vanessa Bryant situation. He said what I just said, talking about you, Amir, apologize. what I said, people want self-entitlement over persons, places, and things in general for free. Ain't shoot a jump shot or my poor block. I got TS. If when my book sells, I've seen how women want to get with me just because it's the opportunity, not a priority. People should get married that unionize a sanctioned just you two people. People don't like me because I'm real in life as well as online. Not angry, just speak facts. Like it's about a wacko jacko. This is the word. All right, Mr. Walker. I see. I gotta proofread your situations. Let me get these other comments. People will try to spin you. Yes, Mr. Walker. Marriage is nothing to play with. It's forever. It's a forever bond. Some people use chase, the illusion, marriage. No, for social media. They use a visual tease. Some people never stay together. It's just a show for some. Yeah, there is a show for some. I agree with that. Miss Clark says, change your energy, change your thoughts. I've been telling y'all that forever. Change that hype man that you got that voice that's in your head. I call him the hype man. You got to change that hype man and what that hype man is telling you. Sometimes that hype man will tell you, you can't. And you got to work on that hype man. DJ Stacy D out of DFW. What does he know about the Diddy parties? Why would Mir know about the Diddy parties?
I have no what you call it on those. So I don't know anything about that.
What does he know about the Diddy parties? And Amir, I want to say, I fight to keep heterosexual relationships alive. I've been a proponent, and that doesn't mean I have anything against any other gay relationship. I just feel that we've created a divide and that there's an attack on trying to keep men and women separate from each other, and that we've been trained or brainwashed that there's no way we can get along. And the great Kevin Samuel had a statement about this, R.I.P., and I'm gonna play it for you.
The problem in Black America is not racism, white supremacy. It's the sober reality that Black men and Black women don't get along. And we really can't sit around as men and women and even like each other enough to where you think smiling at a brother is offensive, and you think treating her decent enough to open the door for her makes you a simp. Where we gonna go? We spend more time beefing than building. Well, let's beef while we build. But if we building, we're gonna be too tired to beef.
For the late great Kevin Samuel, and I just want to say the reason why you see all this social media with men and women attacking each other, women saying men ain't this, don't take me to Cheesecake Factory, men saying I got to go overseas to find a proper woman who meets my needs. Remember, y'all, when you're watching this, most of these people are trying to monetize their opinion.
Yes.
Most of these people are trying to make money off their opinion. And a lot of the easiest way to get things sparked up and to get people's attention is to say they don't understand us. And they are the reason why this doesn't work. And in turn, that person says the way I can get more likes and views is saying he's wrong and they're the problem and they're the deadbeat dads and they're the ones never around. We got to look through this. We have to have some intellectual common sense when we watch something. When you go to buy a car and the car salesman comes out, he's going to give you the best parts of this car to sell it. He's not going to tell you the truth. He's not going to tell you what the return rate or how many people are forced to use the warranty. He's not going to tell you this. He's not going to tell you about the recalls that happened on the Model 2 years ago. He's going to glamorize it the same way, the negative way. They're going to glamorize the negativity because that sparks the engagement. That gets your reels and that meets your challenges on Instagram. And that's where the badges are bought and the gifts are bought on TikTok. So remember that before you take what somebody says as gospel. Now, that being said, we're about to maybe do the same thing, Mir, because what do you think is the top 3 issues on why these heterosexuals are falling by the wayside? These relationships are falling by the wayside.
I think the first one that you gave is spot on, and it has to do with social media. I think the second thing that is plaguing our community, or, like you said, heterosexual relationships, is the mere fact that we don't, in some cases, have enough models of what that looks like. in our day, you know, in the era that we came from, even with welfare and, you know, some of the things that they put in place to try to, you know, destroy the family, we still had the family. You know, you still had mothers and fathers together. A running joke with me, and I always laugh about this, and, you know, Mike, I'm sure you remember this, but, you know, now the EBT cards, at least here in New York, are like a credit card. You know, you swipe or whatever the case may be. But we from the era when the money was the funny color like Monopoly. It was green, brown, and red.
And when you use it outside your neighborhood, that's when you realized it was funny money. It was different.
You understand what I'm saying? But even within your neighborhood, if you went to the, you know, to the supermarket or the grocery store and you had to pay something and you had to use the you know, welfare money, you always looked around. Damn, that's Mike. I'm gonna wait a little extra longer and not pay for my, you know, $2 of spiced ham because I don't want to know more welfare. Now, that, like I said, and that's, you know, just the honest, you know, the God truth thing about, you know, how we were back then. So you got those two things, and then I think the third thing is, to your point, we've allowed the information to become gospel, and we don't do enough research and enough due diligence to find out and figure out that a lot of what they're saying, first of all, is false. Secondly, is lies and propaganda to continue to add fuel to the fire, which they've already started. So, you know, I try to encourage people, because I even say this, you know, about myself and using social media. I'm always on social media looking at positive things. Yes, there's a ton of negative and crazy stuff, but I'm always trying to find the positive stuff that's on social media, whether it be, you know, people on there breaking down how to really invest, or people on there breaking down, you know, like you said, real conversations about relationships and what we should be truly having a conversation about. Just a quick second, yesterday, you know, I was on my way to work and I thought about the clip that you had played, like you said, about the people having to leave the country to find love. That clip bothered me so bad the entire day that I in my head, I was just thinking to myself, it's unfortunate that sometimes, because of the way people are raised, they think that everybody appears to have been raised that way. I grew up in the projects, and I always share that with people, because, you know, you and so many people say, "Man, you're so well spoken," and this and that and the third. But I had two choices. I had the people who we all know who may or may not speak as well as others, who may not carry themselves as well as others. Doesn't make them less than or not as smart as. They just haven't had the same tutelage. They haven't had the same mentors. They haven't had the same people loving on them the way that I may have. So the real reason why I'm able to articulate and do some of the things I'm able to do is because I had people around me who I learned and watched and patterned myself after, because that's what I saw. When you think about the people who aren't in those spaces, they may not have had those luxuries. And I think that it's always amazing to me that we are, to your point, we're so quick to tear those people down. This person is bad. No, they just haven't had that as a part of their experience to this point, because we can always change our experiences. But you have to, one, want to. Two, you have to seek out how and where you can do that. And then three, you have to honestly tell yourself, this is what I'm going to do moving forward, and then execute said game plan. And that's where a lot of us fall short.
I absolutely agree with you. And let me just shoot down a myth. First of all, I hope you don't take offense when we say you're well spoken, because sometimes, you know, certain people say it with a little tinge of racism. Oh my God, you're so well spoken. No, bitch. Yeah, what? But I also want to tell people, I want to put an end to this myth. I have known great communicators who don't use big words. I've known great communicators on the block who can communicate with anybody. They just have a gift, and they have a confidence that they can communicate their thoughts. I've seen people, I've brought people into meetings that people are like, you're crazy to bring him in a meeting. You're crazy. I said, yeah, but he knows the vision. And I know he knows how to place this vision and how to paint the picture. Don't worry that he's not going to use words with a lot of syllables in it. And don't worry that some ebonics is going to pop off. I promise you, this man is going to communicate our vision. And for that moment, and for those moments that, and rest in peace because he's no longer with us, he could communicate and paint a picture that people would sit there and go like, oh, I get it. And nobody would believe it. They'd be like, he sealed the deal. It wasn't any funny thing or witty thing I said. He sealed the deal. So stop thinking that you have to be this college Yale vocabulary master in order to communicate. Great communicators just have a knack and have learned how to communicate with people. There was one more thing I wanted before because I know you got to go. Jaylen Brown, NBA Finals MVP for the Boston Celtics. No segue, y'all. I'm going right into this, but I want to. Amir obviously has been entrenched in the NBA with his late great brother playing in the NBA and being a St. John's legend, Malik Sealy. Jaylen Brown was left off the Dream Team, the Olympic team. And when they needed a replacement, they overlooked him. They put Derek White. I've never heard of not picking that Finals MVP. And to me, the best player on a championship team. To me, he's the best all-around player. And people are like, why? I'm going to give you an example on why this man is dangerous. I'm going to give you an example why Jaylen Brown is dangerous. I'm going to play something of him speaking to a group of people.
He developed this philosophy in 1975 in his work, Discipline and Punish. He explored the evolution of power and the dynamic of it and how it's changed from physical authority to psychological authority. So Foucault uses this as his theory of modern power, that surveillance is used as a key instrument in modern institutions to govern and control the masses. And to expand on his point, I want to look at dynamic normalization and panopticism, how it applies to today and how it applies to me and my lens and my experience as a black athlete through the concept of media training. In my opinion, media and or social media is a form of a panopticon. It's a watchtower. Athletes are taught to act and engage in a certain way through media training, and there's a societal pushback or a risk of loss of endorsement, if not.
Now you're probably thinking, well, Mike, what the hell did he say? He explained to you how athletes are trained to be robots and to basically be puppets in society. Jaylen Brown also, when he was interviewed after he signed the biggest deal in the NBA, said he wanted to bring Black Wall Street to Boston. Do not get it effed up. Do not believe the Stephen A. Smiths of the world who say he's not marketable. No, he's not controllable. That's what he's not. He can't be controlled by billionaire owners. He can't be controlled by the media. To top that off, he made a statement about Nike. What does Nike know about social reform? This man is dangerous to them because they never want to put him on a platform. They never want to add to his platform to reach the people because a free mind is a dangerous mind. You've been close to the NBA. Your thoughts on Jaylen Brown not being put on the Olympic team and your view on it.
So, you know what's so funny? So my staff, my team members who I work with, one of them's 38, the other one is 40. So, you know, I'm the OG in my, you know, working circumstance. I'm 55. And, you know, I talk to them extensively about everything that, you know, goes on in the world. But to your point and to the point of this conversation, I told them, I said, he didn't get left off the dream team because he isn't the best player or one of the best players in the world. He got left off the dream team, to your exact point, because they can't control him. I said, this is a young man who, one, can articulate the heck out of anything. This man is incredibly smart. Matter of fact, there was a meme or one of these videos that went around. There were 5 players in the NBA who they say are super smart. Jaylen Brown, I think, is one. Kyrie Irving is number 2, by the way. And I'm talking
also
about
left off the team. Also left off the team. Yeah.
Based off of their, their genius. But the amazing thing about him in particular, and I've had the opportunity to speak to him over the phone, and this was before, excuse me, they had won the championship, and before, he had become the MVP of the finals and all this stuff. We were working with him on another project, myself and my older brother, and we got a chance to speak to him on the phone, and we found out just how articulate he was and how smart he was. And we were like, this brother is not going to be able to utilize, the NBA won't be able to utilize him like they've utilized so many others. Now, with that having been said, and, again, Mike makes a great point, and I've always said this, because if you watch the NBA, the NFL, and, all these nefarious sporting events now, first off, if y'all don't know that mostly any or all of it is scripted, I feel sorry for you. And I know that's going to be an unpopular thing. And like you said, Mike, that's probably another show for another day, but I'm just keeping it a buck. And I'm not saying that because I had a brother who played. I'm just telling you to look at the league as it stands with your own eyes, and don't be so in love with the fact that you love this player or this team or that team. Just be honest with yourself about what you see. The other thing that I've always said, the NBA, the NFL, the Major League Baseball, those are billion-dollar corporations. I'm going to say that again. Those are billion-dollar corporations. Some of us have no idea how much $1 billion is. And I'm not saying that to be mean or facetious. I'm not saying that to make any of y'all feel any kind of way. What I'm saying to you is, when you are starting to speak about billions of dollars, there are places, things, and stuff that you can do that the ordinary person can't do, and including script things. And I always say that to people and preface it that way, because I want y'all to understand that the people who are propped up, and that's what they are, and put in spaces, are put there to sort of make us docile, because they happen to be the people who we feel that we love and are comfortable with. And I always tell people, if you really look at it, you can tell who those people are and why they are in the positions they're in. Just for a quick second, we look, and I just mentioned Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was ostracized for talking about not wanting to get vaccinated, so forth and so on, blah, 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 blah. We are almost 5 years later from whatever happened, and everything that man said was true. You didn't see Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley,
yep,
Kenny Smith, Shaq, Ernie Johnson, or any of these people go, you know what, that young man was right. Not one person.
Facts.
Not one person has said that. Now, facts. I share that to share Jaylen Brown in particular. From my understanding, this is a man who's going around and is speaking at Harvards, the Harvards of the world, and in places of that ilk. They can't force this man to not speak from a space and a place that he knows. He is genuinely concerned about our well-being and what is happening with our community in particular. And it's funny, because when athletes of other ethnicities get top dollar, they are never asked, what do you plan to do with it? They are never asked how and why you deserve it. And in a lot of cases, these guys are not even the best in their field at the time. That's what makes it so funny. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to be mean or facetious. I'm just keeping it 1,000 with y'all. When you looked at the NBA Finals, and I said this to people because I haven't watched the NBA Finals in some time, or basketball for that matter. Once I really started to look and see how they were doing certain players, and this has been for a while. We can take this back to the championship run of the Lakers. We could take this, and when I say the Lakers, I'm talking about the newer championship runs. I'm not talking about the Magic and all that era. The 80s was the 80s. But if you look into the 2000s and all that, there's a lot of fugazi stuff that if you pay attention, you'll be like, wait a minute, that doesn't even add up. But with that having been said, for this man in particular, what they're afraid of is, to Mike's point is, if this man has the platform and the capability of being seen on these platforms, and then utilizing it to not only share what he thinks, but to educate the masses, it would be a free fall and they would have total anarchy and craziness. And then the last thing I'll say about this, and again, I've shared this, on other platforms. I think I've even shared this on this one. You got to look at what their bigger agenda is, which is always trying to keep us from seeing how amazing we are. And I always say that to y'all in this regard. I don't care what format of anything you look at. Once given the opportunity to participate in it, not only do we take it over, but we become so good at it that they then have to start creating new stuff so that they can still continue to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at it. I don't care what it is. Look at it. Music. I don't care what genre of music you think that you know. We created it. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. Fashion. Same thing. Like I said, sports. I remember, and Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Remember when Nadia Comaneci was the standard for gymnastics? Remember that?
Yeah.
Now Simone Biles has surpassed her on such a level that they'll never be able to catch Simone Biles. Never. Never. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like I said, anything you allow us to get into, and the real reason why they always keep us out of things is because they know this. They're like, these people are the closest thing to the origin of the world or whatever your higher power being is. We're the closest thing to it. And if you think I'm lying, like I said, just look at our track record. Look at it. It speaks for itself. I always laugh. You look at all the great bands. The Beatles said this. I didn't say this. We watched Motown. We wanted to be like Motown. The Beatles said that. Y'all call them the greatest white band or whatever. They said that. Not me.
Watch the Jimi Hendrix documentary and you'll see how many people will testify to going, we wanted to do what he was doing. We wanted to figure out how to do what he was doing. But back to Jaylen Brown, because I know I got to let you go. The thing that irritates, and we don't, listen, I'm like Sway. I ain't got the answers. The thing that irritates me the most is that it'd be us, people of color, that will want to jump on the bandwagon and refute people who are putting their necks on the line and go like, he's making a whole bunch of money. Why don't he just be happy with making, when people are trying to show you a light and trying to say, listen, I'm here for you. That's when we go against them and say, nah, that's when the Stephen A. Smiths of the world decide they would like to destroy Kyrie Irving because his attempt was to get him out the league no matter what he says. Because he knew his higher ups, he was doing their dirty work.
Yeah.
He knew he was doing the work for Disney. They wanted to promote the COVID vaccine. I got vaccinated. I did. I fell for the fear. He was doing their work. He was doing the Moderna's work. He couldn't do the opposite. If Stephen A. Smith had felt Kyrie was right, he couldn't have said all that. He couldn't have stood up for Kyrie the same way he tried to break Kyrie down. He couldn't have done that. So he can stand on that microphone all he wants and say, I'll say whatever I want. No, you won't.
True.
You've been bought, you've been sold, and you're on that side. Period, point blank. Take it out.
I agree with you, Mike. And again, like I said, I think, and I said this, I went on record saying this because this was something that even Keyshawn Johnson said, and we, switching gears for just a minute. I remember Keyshawn Johnson said, supposedly the young man that is the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, I can't think of his name right now.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. He said, they're saying Lamar Jackson isn't marketable because of this, that, the third. Lamar Jackson isn't marketable because he doesn't fit the mold that y'all want him to fit.
No,
he won't comb his hair the way that y'all want. He won't speak, again, to your point, the way that y'all want him to speak, because he didn't come from that. He came from the places that you and I have come from and so many people have come from. And what they're always afraid of is when putting those people in places of power or places where they can be seen, it will inspire the next generation. I told my staff this. If you go back to Super Bowls, the one where my man for Seattle, he won the year before, and then they went back and they didn't give homeboy the ball on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
Marshawn Lynch. But the quarterback, what's the quarterback?
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. The real reason why they didn't let them win those Super Bowls back to back, and everybody, if you want to be mad, you can be mad, but I'm telling you the truth, is because, first of all, I need y'all to hear me when I say this. When is the Super Bowl played? Black History Month. Black History Month. Think about it. He already won the year before. If he wins 2 back-to-back in Black History Month, do you know what every black kid in America will be doing? Now, fast forward. How many black quarterbacks do y'all see in the league now? So even though they tried to not do it, it still backfired. Because every kid in the world was looking, going, I want to be like Russell Wilson. I want to do what that guy's doing. Now, they have sort of toned it down with Patrick Mahomes, because we know that Patrick Mahomes got some brother in him, whether you want to admit it or not. So they toned it down. But the point is, when they see that we will totally get behind a movement that is for us and is about us, they want to do everything they can to disrupt it. Mike, like he said, and some of y'all do and don't know this, I'm talking from my own experience. I'm not talking about somebody else's. My father, rest in peace, says this always. He protected his brother and his friend, the late Malcolm X. And y'all can go look it up. You can Google it. I don't, do whatever you need to do. You'll see pictures, especially early on when Malcolm X was moving around the country. My father is in those pictures. I don't think he was. I know he was because I got the evidence. But the point is, when you move in a certain manner with a certain energy, and they see that there is the possibility of it gaining traction or it becoming a norm, they have to disrupt it, because they know that there will be people who most certainly follow, and then it will disrupt what their game plan is, which is why there's all this division and all this stuff that they're trying to do. They can't have a Jaylen Brown because you say that a Tom Brady is the greatest to ever do this, that, the third, when he's not, because they cheated at least 4 Super Bowls for Tom Brady. And if you think I'm lying, again, you can go back and look, and I can point them out to you and you'd be mad, but you'd be like, you know what? I didn't think about that. But my point to it is, they can't have Jaylen Brown in any position where we can now have young men and women who may or may not be the popular kids because they're into their books. They're smart. Guess who that empowers? Those young people. And we can't have that, because now those people will take over.
Well, Amir,
so that's why they're not doing anything with that man.
Let me give you. Yeah, we can have a long conversation about this, and it goes on and on. Just listen, people, when you see somebody trying to spread and give you information and trying to lead you in a different path, don't automatically jump with the group, because the problem with this country and problem with us is that we're at a point where we're 90% just a bunch of followers.
Yes.
And we don't want to walk down that rough path, because for some reason, and I know the reason, the fear of losing stuff. The fear of losing a position, the fear of losing a check. I'm not downplaying that, y'all. I'm not downplaying. I know the power of having to take care of a family and running the risk of, am I going to put my ability to take care of my family in jeopardy if I speak on something that's correct? But if somebody goes out there like a Jaylen Brown, rally. Let's at least rally with the person. When somebody's attacked like Kyrie Irving, just for using common sense, just for not wanting to take a vaccination that has never been approved by the FDA to this day, rally with the person. Even if you're like, I'm not bold enough to do what you're going to do, give them the support and push back against these people in the media who have been bought. They've been bought. They're good. They're good. In their mind, they're good. They don't care about the other abstract things that are going to go on to the middle class or lower middle class or people living in. They don't care about that. They don't care about the strong examples being set by certain people. They would rather cut them at the knees. Colin Kaepernick, they'd rather cut him at the knees, no pun intended. That's just what it is. Amir, thank you so much. Obviously, please don't be a stranger. We want you to come back on the show. Hopefully I'll be in New York more and more with Jonesy in New York on Mondays, and we'll see where that goes. Hopefully we can connect. You got my number. I got your numbers on both of us to stay in contact. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my man Amir Sealy. Have a good one, Duck.
All right. Thank you all. Everybody have a wonderful day. Blessings.
All right, y'all. Y'all can't say we ain't trying to be responsible on this show, damn it. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. It's time for me to break out of here. Don't forget August 10th, Takeover Legend Community. Yes, August 10th, that weekend. August 10th is a Saturday. There is a comedy show we're doing that night if you take part. I'm also going to have to put up that there's a fake Facebook page that is got my name on it that is telling people that if you pay me, I will play your song. I'm not in any position. That is not me. I will post that. Back to the August 10th situation. Let me just run down. August 10th is a Saturday. West Hampton. Google Best Western or the Marriott. They're next to each other. Those are where you want to get your rooms at. We'll decide. You tell me. They're close to each other, so the Marriott probably has a lounge. I don't know if the Best Western does. The Marriott does. That everybody can gather. That night we're going to a comedy show. It's BYOB. Obviously, that's for me. Bring your own bottle of water. For y'all, we'll take it from there and go to the comedy show, which is in Willingboro, New Jersey at the JFK Entertainment Center. Bob Subner has put that together. So we're going to make our efforts to make that happen. Shout out to everybody. Let me get your final comments before we get out of here. Yes, he is definitely not for sale. Amir, yep, Shelly, thank you, Shelly. God bless y'all. Miss Clark, thank y'all for everybody for supporting. Please do me a favor. If you're watching, like and share. If you see it on Facebook, like it. If you see it on YouTube, the YouTube page is Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends. Subscribe and like. You guys have written out. I'm so honored to be here with y'all Tuesday through Friday. Sometimes things change. Everybody have a great day. Yes. And you know how I end the show. Love me for who I am, not who you want me to be. And I'm trying to be who I want to be. Because I can never be that. Understand there's only one thing in life that's guaranteed. It will end. So enjoy every minute, every second. Don't allow any person, any situation to take your happiness from you. From Michael Shawn, Jay Black, C. Chung, who we see randomly. Jay Black's on vacation. Sexy Mo, to our guest Amir Sealy, to all our guests who joined here. I'm trying to get Galatory on here. We're gone. Gone in.
Michael Shawn and the Takeover Legends, where the truth hurts, but also makes you laugh.